Swain, touchdown.
It's time. It's time. It's Swain Event time.
My man.
It is time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. This is real sports talk for the real sports fan. Talk to him, Swain.
Give it to his house and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Ben McKee, Go Ball 247. I'm Jason Swain, live in the Low T Center studio. Hope you are having a wonderful Christmas Eve. Eve of Christmas Eve. I think that's how you say it. Ben, what's up, man?
Good morning. I hope you are well. Merry Christmas Eve to you and yours. Saw you had some of your family in town the last couple of days. Hope they are doing well. Hope the family's doing well. Hope y'all enjoy
How you know that?
the rest of your week.
How you know that?
Because we're Instagram buddies.
I ain't posting on Instagram.
You didn't. Brian did.
What'd you say?
I said you didn't, but Brian did.
He sure did, didn't he? Yeah, my bro came in town with his son, so I got a chance to see him and my nephew over the weekend. So that was awesome. Since we didn't play in the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte, he said, "You know what? I'm gonna bring the mayo to you." So he came in town this weekend. It was awesome.
So he brought you mayo?
No, he didn't. I was just kidding. I think
Do you like mayo?
Do I like mayo?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you know, mayo can be one of those hot topic
it can.
food conversations.
Yeah, it's served different purposes. Yeah, I love mayo. I feel like I've been thinking about something all wrong, Ben. I need to get your opinion. I think I've been thinking about the quarterback position all wrong here. As far as like whose Tennessee should go out and get in the portal. I feel like I'm spending way too much energy here. I'm overthinking it. And by the way, I'm looking forward to Buck Nasty's phone call today because I know that he was dead set on getting Will Muschamp as defense coordinator, and Will Muschamp is now going to Texas, or now is at Texas, and will be coordinating the defense for Texas. So I'm looking forward to this conversation with Buck Nasty. So I'm waiting on that.
Throw the bat signal up. Come on, Buck Nasty. Where you at?
But I feel like we're overthinking this thing. There's been some really good quarterbacks that hit the portal in the last couple of days. I mean, some really good quarterbacks.
And they all seem to have a destination to watch out for, too.
I know, right? Like Rocco Beck, looks like maybe that's Penn State because Matt Campbell's at Penn State.
USF quarterback.
Yeah.
Was it Byron Brown?
Byron Brown, Auburn, because Alex Golesh is there. Who else you got there? You got Sorsby, Texas Tech. That link.
But how much of that is like people just assuming he's following his girlfriend and actual? Because that was always what everybody says is, oh, his girlfriend goes to Texas Tech, and I get it, but like, is there legitimate football? Obvious reasons there as well that people are connecting the dots, or is it just a simple fact that his girlfriend goes to Texas Tech? Because look, Brandon Arvidson's girlfriend goes to Texas A&M and just won a national championship for volleyball.
Hey.
Brandon Arvidson's still here.
Hey, I mean, family lives here in Knoxville. I mean, back in the day before NIL, programs used to move families to the city and then give the families jobs. So they used to take care of the family. I mean, we can take care of the family. I mean, we can hook them up with a DoorDash NIL deal, so that way parents don't ever have to cook. We can do that. I mean, there's ways to take care of the family that's right here in Knoxville. I don't know if Texas Tech is going to do that, or unless they're going to say, you know what, here's an extra $1 million. I mean, they could do that.
They could do that.
I think people just automatically assume Texas Tech because of the girlfriend link. You look at what Carson Beck, when he went to Georgia to Miami, I mean, there was a girlfriend link there too.
And they're not even together anymore.
They're not, but he still got paid $4 million. So like that's probably was the biggest reason. And I don't know if Tennessee is willing to do that. I think they should be willing to be open to it. But like, I don't think they need to pay $4 million.
Why not?
For him? Well, need? I don't think they need to. They should be open to it. But like, need to? I mean, let's think about this thing here, Ben. Josh Heupel's 3 for 3, man, on transfer quarterbacks. He doesn't miss. He hasn't missed. Now, high school quarterbacks, he's 0 for 3. Transfer quarterbacks, he's 3 for 3. Am I wrong here?
You are correct.
Okay. Hendon, Joe, Aguilar, 3 for 3. High school quarterbacks, Nico, Taven Jackson, Merklinger, 0 for 3. So you might be more concerned about Faison Brandon and George McIntyre based on the history than an unknown quarterback that's not even here yet. Like, you should have more confidence in the quarterback that's not even here yet from the portal than the quarterbacks that we know are coming and here already. Like, when you think about it. So that's why I'm like,
theoretically.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, maybe I'm overthinking this thing, man. He doesn't miss when it comes to transfer quarterbacks.
I do think that we are. I don't know that I would use the word overthinking to describe how I feel. I don't. To your point, I don't know that I need to be dead set on Tennessee getting one of the top quarterback names out of the portal, because to your point, even if it's not Brennan Sorsby or whoever is viewed as the top guy in this quarterback class, Josh Heupel can still go win without getting that guy. Josh Heupel can get a tier 2, a tier 3 quarterback in the portal and have success with them, because Hendon Hooker was not a tier 1 quarterback in the portal.
No.
Joey Aguilar certainly was not a tier 1 quarterback in the portal. His Joey Aguilar's old school, UCLA, threw him out the door at the, like he was DJ Jazzy Jeff at the first chance they got.
Yeah.
Now Joe, I would feel, because of his high school ranking and because he was coming from Michigan, maybe viewed a little more favorably than Hendo and Joey. But even I don't recall Joe being viewed as just elite transfer quarterback. I mean, even Joe had quite a bit to prove as well. So I think you're dead set there. I think if I'm Josh Heupel, I'm asking myself 2 questions. How ready is George McIntyre ready to play next season? And part of that answer determines how ambitious I am in pursuing a transfer quarterback. And then the other question I'm asking is his own personal evaluation. Because I am certainly not a quarterback developer. I can tell you who I think are the top quarterbacks in the portal just based off of me being somebody who watches college football.
Who that?
But in terms of being what's that?
Who is that?
Well, it would be the big names that we've already discussed. But just because we are discussing the most popular names doesn't mean that those are the names that Josh Heupel views as the best fits within his offensive system. It may be if we were putting them in the tiers as I continue with that theme. I mean, Josh Heupel may view somebody that we would put in a tier 2, a tier 3 of portal quarterbacks as the best fit for his offense.
I think that's a lot. I think that's a lot of quarterbacks.
I mean, there are. Yeah, I mean,
when you talk about fits, Ben, I think there's a lot of quarterbacks in the portal that Josh Heupel has had during his career, especially here at Tennessee, that could be fits.
Well, that's a good thing if you're Tennessee, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I feel like a lot of people are overthinking this thing.
Yeah, maybe so. I would still like if I'm Heupel and I view Sorsby or Rocco Beck or that's the other one that we didn't mention who already seems to have a destination picked out is Josh Hoover at TCU. I believe it's Josh Hoover, but the TCU quarterback who was committed to Indiana coming out of high school, flipped to TCU. Now he's in the portal. Fernando Mendoza, he's going to the NFL after winning the Heisman. Everybody's connecting those dots and assuming that Hoover's going to go to Indiana next. But, I mean, if it were one of those type of names and Josh Heupel thought that he was worth every penny, I would still be ambitious about trying to get one of those guys if it's feasible and if there's mutual interest. But I do think if to your point, if you're a Tennessee fan, if Tennessee's not able to get in with one of those popular names, you should find a lot of comfort in what you were saying, that just because they don't go get the most popular name, that they can still find somebody that really does fit this offense and Heupel can have success with.
Yeah, like just get somebody that's good, because I think give me a guy that processes information quickly. I think I'm taking that over anything else.
Yes,
because guys who can't process information quickly, I think hinders the offense. Joey Aguilar was a guy that did a pretty good job of processing. I thought you saw the difference in last year's quarterback who did not process the information as fast as he needed to, although he had better tools than Joey Aguilar. You saw,
and I think you saw it from Hendon Hooker to Joe Milton as well. And I like Joe.
Yeah,
I do not knock Joe as much as others do, but I think there was a step back in processing things as well under Joe, and that was part of the reason, amongst other things, why there was a bit of a dip from Hendon to Joe.
Yeah, like as far as like it seemed like the passing game was bogged down and we were not as creative as we were under Hendon. So Hendon processed faster than Joe. Joey processed faster than Nico, and it shows. Give me the quick processor. Like, all the other stuff is extra. Like, every quarterback in the portal can throw the ball 40, 50 yards. I ain't worried about that. So arm strength, to me, is not that big of a deal because, like, I'm sorry, y'all like long passes, y'all like the bombs. They're low percentage throws. I've told you this over and over and over. We get a turnover against Arkansas. We take 2 shots, and we complete neither one of them, and we don't even score or get a first down after getting a turnover in Arkansas game when Jordan Ross made a great play to force the fumble. So shots are great. They're great when you connect on them, but they're low percentage throws. Like, look at the Oklahoma-Alabama game. Bro was wide open, the running back that came out the backfield, and they still couldn't connect on it. Like, so you can find a quarterback in the portal. Everybody throws 40, 50, 60 yards down the football field. That's not a big problem, a big deal for me. But quick processing is important. I think being able to show mobility, I think, is important as well, too. So, like, give me those things. Leadership, processor, mobility. And I don't care what school he come from. I don't care what ranking 247 on 3 gives his transfer. I don't care. Like, I think those 3 things matter more than anything else. And Josh Heupel has shown that he can take a transfer quarterback and do something with. He's 3 for 3. My energy needs to be more on these big uglies, man. These big uglies in the trenches. I saw a big boy from Arkansas hit the portal yesterday. I was like, oh, man, let's go.
Which side of the ball?
Well, defense. Defense.
Well, what are you doing if Lance Hurd is not here next year? Are you? I know that you're not as your evaluation of Bennett Warren is different than the coaches because you're not around Bennett Warren every single day like they are. But like and I'm more so. This is more of a rhetorical question. I'm asking you, but I'm not asking you because I don't know that we know the answer. But like Tennessee has to ask itself, do I trust Bennett Warren or do I need to go add a tackle? So you might have to add a big ugly on the offensive side of the football.
Here's my thing, man. Here's my thing. Bennett Warren should be the next guideline. You shouldn't
Should
have
be.
Should be. He should be the next guideline. If Lance Hurd goes to the NFL, he should be the next guideline. If you have to go to the portal, Bennett Warren 6'7", 325. Like, he should be ready to go. He was a freshman 2024. He was a redshirt freshman this year. His third year in the program, he can't be a starting tackle for you. That would mean big problems because remember, Bennett Warren was part of an offensive line group that was supposed to be better than the other offensive line group that was brought in under Ellaby, and they all fizzed out. And the evaluation wasn't where it needed to be. The development wasn't where it needed to be. And Glenn Ellaby was pointed at like, yo, what is your group doing? Why do we have to go to the portal for all these dudes? You can't let that happen again with this group of offensive linemen that's supposed to be more talented, and you fail to have another recruited player able to start. David Sanders was the first guy you recruited that started in year 5. Bennett Warren should be ready to go if Hurd goes to the NFL. So you slide David Sanders to left tackle. That's what you told him he was going to play anyways after Lance Hurd left. And then you have Bennett Warren at right tackle. That should be the move. But to answer your question, if Lance Hurd were to leave, I'll be open. I'll be open to adding a tackle. I wouldn't be open to adding a Lance Hurd, John Campbell type of tackle that would command high six figures. Like I wouldn't be open to that.
See, my thought.
You shouldn't have to be in that position.
No, you shouldn't, but it seems like they might be in that position. We'll see what Tennessee decides to do. Maybe they elect to roll with Bennett Warren. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that Tennessee has figured out that answer just yet of what they would do, assuming Lance goes to the next level or is not here at Tennessee next year. But I would. My thought is that if you're not comfortable with Bennett Warren, then I think you may have to go pay high dollars for a tackle, just because I don't think that's a position that you can play around with.
Yeah, if you're not, then yeah, I agree with you. But you should be comfortable with Bennett Warren at this stage of his career in year number 3, when he was one of the top players out of high school at his position, and you spent a good amount of money to get. Like,
yes.
He should be ready to play.
I totally agree, but unfortunately, I think it's already concerning that that's not a definitive answer. Like that should be a definitive answer right off the bat. We shouldn't even be having this conversation, much less him being ready to go in year 3. And the fact that it's not a definitive yes to that question, I think is concerning. And you look at some of those other young linemen. Max Anderson doesn't appear ready to get on the field. Brian Grant's not going to play at Tennessee. Gage Ginther, he's not as far along as I thought he would be. I thought Gage Ginther out of Colorado was going to be really, really good, and to this point has not been the case. Jeremiah's Hurd, kind of a project. Doesn't seem like he's going to play at Tennessee. And then William Satterwhite, they had to go get a center last offseason because they didn't feel comfortable with him. And Pendleton struggled at times, and Satterwhite still could not beat him out.
Come on, Ben. I wasn't trying to do this today. You
Sham
right.
Umarov.
You right, man. You right. But I wasn't trying to look at Glenn Ellaby and be like, come on, man. Like we've done it before. And I'm not saying
their evaluations are not panning out. The last couple of years, now I'm at the I kind of took up for him a couple of years ago because I thought they had a couple of nice recruiting wins, and then unfortunately it was just going to take a little more time to potentially correct those wrongs. But like those evaluations that I did like out of high school, Bennett Warren, Max Anderson, Gage Ginther, and I liked them because of who Tennessee was beating out on the recruiting trail. I mean, Tennessee went into Texas and beat out the Texas schools for Bennett Warren, for Max Anderson, and they're not panning out. Gage Ginther was a big-time interior offensive line prospect out of Colorado. He has just not panned out whatsoever. Like, why are these guys not panning out when the recruitment of them would signal that they should be panning out? So it just the evaluations continue to be a whiff out of high school for Tennessee outside of David Sanders Jr. along the offensive line, and it just goes back to I don't think that Tennessee can afford to play with that tackle spot. If you think Bennett Warren is good to go, then that's great. But kind of like the quarterback position, if you even hesitate for a moment answering that question, like with George, then I think you need to go add somebody, which is unfortunate because there's so much this team needs to add. Lord knows that there's a ton of defensive positions that need to be filled. You've got to go get a quarterback. Now you've got to go get some form of running back after Peyton Lewis hits the portal. You would prefer not to add tackle to that list as well.
Yeah, LB got to step it up. I mean, that's as simple as that. I wasn't planning. I didn't have him on my notes today, but
my bad.
He was not a topic that I was planning on talking about. But $900,000 is a salary. Bennett Warren should be ready to play. Like, offensive line should be an issue. And Ellaby, you got to step it up. It's just simple as that. All right, I'm going to the phones. 865-250-503 is the Garza Law hotline. Again, 865-250-503. Good morning.
Morning, Jason.
What's up?
Morning, Ben. Hey, man, it's Dustin.
What's up, Dustin?
Good morning, Dustin.
Man, real quick, real couple quick things. I didn't. Maybe it's just me. I didn't realize we were going to need as much, I guess, as you all were. I knew we were going to need defensive help. Like, I knew that was coming, but man, just y'all started spitballing those little topics right there, and like, I mean, did Jesse Perry, is he more of a guard? I mean, is that? I mean, I know he played a lot of tackle this year. Is that not a reliable tackle that we could have? I mean, if Bennett Warren's not ready, I mean,
Jesse Perry can play guard. I mean, he can play tackle too. He can play any one of those positions. Man, he should be in line to make some serious dough. But yeah, he can play tackle.
Okay, yeah, because I was just like, man, I mean, I know the quarterback and the now running back, but I mean, I just. It seems like, man, we're the list is getting longer day by day. You know what I mean? It keeps growing what we're going to need. But my second thought was this: is there's so much that the help on the defensive side that we need. Could this be a year? Do you think? And I probably shouldn't be. And I just want to get your take on this. Could this be another year like not this past year, but the year before, where we try to maybe build our defense up? And I mean, it's going to be hard to do with the brand new defense coordinator, but rely more on a kind of bend, don't break defense and hope that your offense can kind of just manage you through the ball game. Do you think that's something that Josh Heupel might look? I mean, if they don't go get a big time quarterback, and they have George McIntyre, is he capable of just managing the game? I mean, what do you guys think?
They don't need a big time quarterback.
What do you think we're setting up for? What does it look like we're setting up for? Because I mean, I don't know. Maybe y'all can answer this. Do you think we're going to have? Do you think we're going to get all the needs filled that we have needs for? Because I mean, like I said, the list keeps growing, and I'll hang up and listen, man. I appreciate y'all. Have a Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you and your family, man. Thank you so much. We don't need a big time quarterback. That was a whole first part of the show. We don't need a big-time quarterback. Josh Heupel's been 3 for 3 in the portal. He hasn't gotten a big-time quarterback from the portal. He has had success with transfer quarterbacks. You just need the right quarterback. But you do need to have some big-time defensive players come up in here. You do need to have some players around a big-time running back. Like, you need big-time players around the quarterback, but you don't need to have a big-time quarterback because Josh Heupel has proven he doesn't miss when it comes to transfer quarterbacks. So you don't necessarily need it. You probably need more talent because, quite frankly, Ellaby hasn't shown you that he can develop on a consistent basis. He got to get a big time dude like a Lance Hurd, like a David Sanders. Now Jesse Perry has done his thing, so you got to give Ellaby credit there. But like, it ain't been great. It ain't been great during his tenure here as offensive line coach. So, like, you need more big-time guys O-line, but you don't need a big-time quarterback because Josh Heupel has been excellent. He's been excellent in the portal. But I think it's hard to say what this team is going to be, strength-wise, offense, defense, when we don't even know who's going to be the quarterback. We don't even know the defensive pieces that's going to be added to this roster. We don't have that information right now, Dustin. We do not have that information right now. Anybody trying to – sometimes it's okay to say, I don't know. Sometimes when you have this microphone, you feel the pressure of having to give an answer because you have to be the expert. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay. Man, it's okay. I don't know. Because we don't know. We don't know. We don't know who Jim Knowles is going to bring on to help him coach. We don't know who Jim Knowles is going to say to Josh Heupel, hey, man, this dude can't play here. I don't know why he's even here, but he got to go. He can't play for me. Like, we don't know those players.
We don't know who he's going to say can play.
Exactly. Like, so it's way too early to say that, Dustin. Just to be honest with you.
It is.
That's not fair to give you an answer. We wouldn't be honest. It would be a flat-out lie.
Yeah. There's just no way of knowing on December 23rd when so much of the roster is still in limbo and will be for at least 2 months, a month and a half, maybe not a month and a half. I guess they would have to be here by the time school starts, that they can arrive a little late. I don't know what that date would be, but month and a half, the roster will be sorting itself out. And then we don't know who's going to take a step forward in terms of young guys on this roster. Like, does Jaden Perlotti turn into an all-SEC linebacker? Does Jaden Harmon turn into a reliable linebacker in his second year? Like, there's just so much unknown on that side of the ball. Who's going to be the corner opposite of Ty Redmond next year? I mean, there's so much to figure out. Who's going to be the nickel? Who's going to start at safety? Is Edris?
Back up, Terry. What you mean who's going to be the corner besides Ty Redmond?
Well, I don't think it's going to be Colton Hood.
Of course it ain't going to be Colton Hood. Colton Hood's going to the league.
Am I blanking on am I forgetting a name?
Ricky.
Oh, yeah,
Gibson.
Ricky. I every time I talk about the starting corners for next year, I forget about Ricky because he missed all this year with injury. Forgive me. Okay. You'll have Ricky back, so corner is in a good spot. But who starts at nickel? Who starts at safety? Does Edris Farouk take a big step next year? There's just no way of knowing. I apologize, Ricky. I'll send you an extra Christmas gift this year. This is the second time within a week I've forgotten about him.
Ricky don't need no Christmas gift from you. He rich. He got more money than both of us combined. He don't need your little cheap present.
Well, that's fine. You're rich, and I still give you presents every year.
Yeah, I'm trying to be.
Let me ask you this real quick about the quarterback position, because I do agree with what you're saying about Tennessee not needing a big-time quarterback. But just to play devil's advocate briefly, or just to present the question, Joey was awesome against Georgia. And like we talked about with the offensive line, Tennessee's offensive line on the whole had a solid season. But if we're being honest, in the games that mattered most, the offensive line did not play to the level that it needed to. Alabama, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt. Against Alabama and Oklahoma, arguably Tennessee's two biggest games of the year, in addition to the Georgia game, Joey did not play well. So Joey did really good in the other games, but in two of your biggest games of the year, in two of the four legitimate opponents that you played, he struggled. So does that change anything at all? Like if theoretically it had been a more big time quarterback from the portal, does that big time portal quarterback play better in those games?
I haven't seen a quarterback play well that didn't have protection up front.
It wasn't just protection that he struggled in those two games. He was not seeing the field well whatsoever.
I understand. But if you can't run the football, then you're one-dimensional. And that's what makes it really hard. Like OU, you couldn't run the football. You couldn't protect them. The turnover that turned the whole game around, that was a mistake on the offensive lineman. So, like, Joey wasn't perfect. Joey had his bad throws, Mississippi State game. If Tennessee would have lost that game, we would have looked at Joey Aguilar like, yo, he cost you that game. He cost you that game. But he made enough plays when it mattered to win. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Joey was an afterthought. He was a dude that went from Appy State to UCLA and then was pushed out the door. And look what he did under Josh Heupel, leading the league in yards. If you get someone that's a little bit better than Joey in terms of their career in college, imagine what Josh can do with that quarterback. Maybe he's a little bit better than Joey Aguilar in big games. So, like, you're right. That's what you judged on, and that's what Tennessee should be judged on this past year, because honestly, the schedule was not that difficult. You beat one team with the winning record. This was the year for you to do something, and now it's going to be harder moving forward. And so, yeah, like, I look at the Georgia game, I look at the Alabama game, I look at the Vandy game. I'm looking at games versus good teams and what we did, and quite frankly, we wasn't good enough. So
No.
All right, I gotta go back to the phones.
I just wonder if you had a legitimate difference maker at quarterback, and look, I really like Joey. I'd take him back for another year in a heartbeat right now,
for sure.
if you gave me that option. Yeah. But like, if you have one of those big time difference makers from the portal, does that make a difference in how the rest of your offense plays?
Well, it makes a difference because you're gonna pay a lot of money for that big time quarterback, and I don't think it's necessary. And I don't even know who's big time. Like who was really big time?
Well, is there anybody in, I guess, to answer that question, and I know you're trying to go to the phone, so maybe we can answer this afterwards, but like it seems like in order to get one of those quote-unquote big-time guys, it would take $4 million or north of $4 million.
Yeah, sure.
Who out of the quarterbacks that we know is in the portal is worth $4 million to you? Is there anybody worth that?
Sorsby's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's also what you're going to have to pay, whether you think he's worth the money or not. To go get one of those perceived big guys in the portal, that's what you're going to have to pay.
Yeah, you're right. 865-255-03, Garza Law Hotline. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Mississippi Vol.
Mississippi Vol. Sip Vol.
What's up, man? It's kind of concerning to me that we're going into year 6, and we're still talking about Glenn Earleby hasn't played with one player that he signed in the starting lineup.
See what you did, Ben?
Now we're year 6, and we're asking about what corners are we going to play.
No, we shouldn't have to be asking about. Ben had a slip up. He forgot about Ricky Gibson.
No, but the thing is, who is after Ricky Gibson and Ty Redmond?
Now, that's a good question.
But you can fill in. You can fill in the holes, though.
Yeah. Who's the nickel?
Just like you did this past year?
Who's the safeties? You get where I'm going? Like, okay, the only guys that have shown that they can develop talent on this roster is Kelsey Pope, who just a couple of years ago, we were saying he couldn't develop, and Rodney Garner. And don't get me wrong, Rodney had a bad down year with the defensive line this year, but we had a bunch of injuries on the defensive line to start the season this year. And it just like we couldn't just bounce back. We had guys playing injured all year. But it goes back to like Jerry Mack was probably the best running back coach we had. He developed. And with P. Lou, never mind. I ain't even gonna get on P. Lou. He can't miss. He can't make somebody miss an open field anyway. So, but what are we doing? Like Ellaby is Josh's buddy, but we've been talking about him for years, Swain, about the offensive line. We should be doing this when that class that Bennett Warren came in was supposedly one of the best classes we've had in Josh Heupel's era. Tenure here.
I mean, from a schematics standpoint, Ellaby has been very vital and instrumental to Josh Heupel to produce produce results in the running game. But when it comes to taking young offensive linemen and you watching the film of them and you picking out who you want and then you bringing them in and you developing them and them being counted on in a year or two, Ellaby has not been good there. He just hasn't been. But
and that goes back to my next point.
Mm-hmm.
Just hire an offensive coordinator that can get his own people in here, because I can't explain why we paying Joey Hazel this money, but he ain't calling plays. You see where we're going? We're just wasting a lot of money.
Why y'all doing this to me today, man?
So, other than that, I
holidays.
will hang up and listen, because I think you got my point now. Just wasting a lot of money.
I got it. I got Mississippi Fall, man. Thank you, man.
I would push back a little bit on the wasting money on Joey Halzle. He was so far behind the other coordinators in the league.
What they got?
And at the end, what's that?
What that mean?
I mean, do you think, yes or no, Joey Halzle has no value?
Don't do that, Ben.
Well, I mean, everybody's just determining Joey Halzle's salary based off of whether or not he calls plays. And I do not think that was fair. And it's not like all of a sudden he's the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league. If he were the highest paid offensive coordinator in the SEC, then like, okay, I hear you. And look, I still hear the critique, and I'm not disagreeing with it, but it's just like, to me, it's almost like we're beating a dead horse. He was well underpaid in comparison to the other coordinators in the league, and his value is not only determined by whether or not he calls plays. We have been giving Josh Heupel on this show a lot of credit for these transfer quarterbacks, and you don't need to bring in a transfer quarterback. Josh Heupel has not done it all himself. Joey Halzle has played a key role in that success as well. So it's not like he's now breaking the bank in terms of what offensive coordinators typically do in the league, and he does bring value elsewhere, even if it is weird, which I do admit that it is weird. I'm not saying that it's not, that you're paying somebody north of $1 million to not call plays, but he does provide other value, and he was far underpaid in terms of the offensive coordinator ranks.
So what are you trying to say?
Is that I think we're beating a dead horse by this Joey Halzle thing.
Who's beating a dead horse? We haven't talked about it that much.
Well, it's brought up every show.
We didn't talk about it last show.
I bet you we did if we went back and listened to the 2 hours.
We did not talk about Joey Halzle's salary last show. We haven't talked about it this show.
We talked about it now.
One
Mississippi
show.
Football brought it up.
What show?
Well, because it's happened. It just happened.
You getting your shows mixed up, Ben. You on so many shows.
Oh yeah. I'm on so many shows, and I also see it all over Twitter as well, and the message boards.
You saw it on Twitter, and you think it's a big time conversation that's going on, and it may be, but like
it is every time Joey Halzle's mentioned.
Yeah, we talked about it once here. I will say this about Joey Halzle.
Twice today.
I understand your point about his development of quarterbacks through the portal, because that's not just on Josh Heupel. He gets credit for that too. I agree with you. Here's my thing. I can go around this league, and there's more clarity with who calls plays around the league than in Tennessee, even with an offensive head coach. You can't get a straight answer on who calls plays. Josh Heupel several times this season admitted once that he wasn't paying attention to what happened during a defensive snap. There's been several times when defense is on the field, he's with the offense with the pad. He's the head coach. He has to manage the entire game. There's been time management questions. So that's why it's brought up, and maybe people can't verbalize it correctly, because when you look at Halsley's numbers, you should be able to pay him that money and the head coach not have to worry about the offense, not have to call plays. We should have a straight answer on who the offense coordinator is. You have a straight answer at Ole Miss this past year. That was Charlie Weiss Jr. You had straight answers around the league, but you can't get a straight answer on who really calls plays at Tennessee. You can't get one. Don't you think that's weird?
A bad thing? I mean, it's weird, but
what do you mean?
Josh Heupel.
That's weird.
What's that?
No,
it is weird. I'm not saying it's not, but is it?
It's not a good thing.
It
ain't a good thing.
But is it a bad thing? We know why
what
we can't get a straight answer.
Bad thing. Josh Heupel mismanaged several games this season because he preoccupied and distracted.
I just view those two things as different. Like getting a straight answer. Like I agree with what you're saying that Josh Heupel would be best served to have a true offensive coordinator. That's not my point.
No. It's not having a true offensive coordinator. It's having a coordinator that you trust enough to where you can manage the game as a head coach. And when someone asks you who calls plays, there's a definitive answer. There's not a definitive answer.
But there's not a definitive answer because he's being secretive. To me, that's different.
But that doesn't help Joey Halsley.
Yeah, but I mean that's a problem Joey Halsley has to deal with.
Again, like this is unnecessary
questioning,
confusion, and questions. It's an issue. Like I'm saying, like it doesn't matter if the offense is producing results. Cool, but like Josh Heupel had mismanagement issues since he's been here.
Yes.
Mainly since Golish has left. Okay?
Yes.
And so that's an issue. Like you ask me if it's bad, it ain't good. If you can't step away from the offense enough for you to manage the game as a head coach, that means you don't trust the offense coordinator enough. And if you don't trust the offense coordinator enough, why are you paying him $1.4 million? That's my question.
And that is a great question,
okay.
And one that I am also asking. But what I would spin off of the whole why are we paying Joey Halsley this much money if we're not letting him call the plays, I think the conversation should be, and not that I think Joey Halsley is the best offensive coordinator in the country, but instead of saying, hey, Josh Heupel, go get an offensive coordinator, why don't we say, hey, let's take the reins off of Joey Halsley and see what Joey Halsley's got?
He don't trust him enough.
But if he doesn't trust Joey Halsley, who has been with him Halsley's entire career, who is he going to trust? Because all this goes back, and this is where I asked the question of, is it a bad thing? We don't know who calls the plays publicly because Josh Heupel doesn't want to talk about it publicly because he is being so secretive. So if he doesn't even trust Joey Halsley, then who is he going to trust from the outside?
He's not going to hire anybody from the outside.
Exactly. So let's take the reins off of Joey Halsley and let him call plays. And because we know he's not going to bring anybody from the outside.
Like there's no benefit to be so hairy about who calls plays. Because everyone around the league in the country tells you who calls plays. Like there's no competitive advantage. None. And so what it looks like is that, he's not going to just let Joey run the offense. Like he's not going to do that. That's what it looks like. That's the perception. And so when you look at Joey Halsley's numbers, his salary compared to other SEC offensive coordinator, it's lower than everybody else's. And then you put two and two together like, oh, well, that's probably because Joey ain't calling all the plays. And then when you look at the management issues this season, you're like, well, maybe he should be calling all the plays. So you can pay more attention to clock management and other things. Like these are one of the other things that Josh Heupel will have to address in the offseason to improve on for next season. This is the holidays, Ben. I wasn't trying to have this conversation today.
Well, I mean, you should have known that these conversations, if we're talking Tennessee football, these are the conversations that are being had these days. So you should have known that but beforehand. But what's also weird is they gave Joey Halzle this raise to keep him because, I mean, we had the conversation about the defense coordinators a couple of shows ago about how we have seen some coordinators, Jay Bateman at Texas A&M going to Kentucky so he could run his own show and get out from underneath Mike Elko. I mean, Joey Halzle's probably going to have to do that at some point as well. If he truly wants to distinguish himself as a play caller and offensive mind, he's going to have to get out from under Josh Heupel's umbrella at some point.
Rhett Lashley, because
yes,
you want to have different connections to different coaches. If Halzle is always connected to Heupel and he doesn't have a good year and he's forced to let him go, it's going to be a hard time for him to get on somewhere else as offense coordinator. Like, you want to have connections to other places. And that's why Rhett Lashley left Gus Malzahn, so he can prove somewhere else that he was a good offense coordinator and wasn't a puppet to Gus Malzahn. And look where Rhett Lashley is at right now. He is a head coach. And so at some point, Halsey might have to do that. I don't know if Tennessee pay him more to keep him or they paid him more because his contract was up and you can't pay him the same and you can't pay him less, so you got to pay him more. And I don't know if Joey Halzle could get on somewhere else as offense coordinator. I know his name was mentioned with Florida, but like
in Auburn,
I would like to know what is said in the coaching circles about who calls. I can find out. If I really want to find out, I can find out.
I think we know who calls plays.
Well, I don't think it's one person all the time. And if it is one,
to me, that's kind of weird.
Well,
how often does that happen?
I just think it would be in Josh Heupel's best interest to spend more time managing the game better, so that way he doesn't have the issues. And if you can't do that because you're looking over the shoulder of the offense coordinator, then you have the wrong offense coordinator. I mean,
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And
like that,
but to me, it's still weird that Halsey did receive interest elsewhere. And I personally, from the outside looking in, this is just my opinion from the outside looking in, it seems like Halsey is maybe starting to realize that he may have to get out and spread his wings and prove himself elsewhere. So to me, it's weird seeing Halsey start to maybe look around, and maybe it's just the agent floating his name out there, but his name's starting to be out there, and Tennessee did pay to keep him. So there does appear to show that he is valued to a certain extent. So to me, what I'm getting at is it's weird that they commit to him contractually, appear to value him contractually, but yet when it comes time to when Saturday rolls around, there's no trust there. Like to me that's a little weird. Like how do you trust him to give him a bump, a pretty good bump in pay?
Because you had to.
But
that's why. Like you have.
I mean, you didn't have to.
Yes, you did. You can't pay him the same.
You could have let him walk.
Where are you gonna walk to?
Halsey could get another job. I don't know
as
what
the offense
type of
coordinator.
Job, I mean, probably not at a place like Tennessee, but
so that's what I'm saying. Like if I'm Halsey, I don't want to walk somewhere if I can't get an offense coordinator job, like a place where I'm at right now. Now, Hypo ain't gonna fire anybody. He did with Tim Banks, but like, if you're Halsey, man, you in this position because of Hypo. Like Hypo put you on, and if you're Hypo, and Halsey had the expiring contract, you can't pay him the same. You just can't, and so you got to pay him more. You just have to, and even paying him more, he's still lower than some of the other coordinators around the league. Like, I'm looking at what Charlie Weiss Jr. is about to make at LSU. Have you seen how much he's about to make?
I would assume it's north of $2 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what he deserves to make.
He calls the plays.
Yep.
He's so important that he went back to Ole Miss to call plays for the for the playoff team. Like, he calls plays. Like, Lane has said it on the record. Charlie Weiss Jr., he calls plays. Pete Golden was singing his praises after they beat Tulane. Like, there's no question. I just think for Josh Heupel, it would be better if you knew who called plays. Because now there's this perception that he doesn't trust Halsley and he's meddling, and then you had the game management situations this year. And so, like, that's a narrative that ain't going to die. And so I just hope that at some point it's known that he calls plays, or Halsey puts himself in a position to where, hey, man, you go somewhere else with a defensive coach who's a head coach, or it's known that you call plays so you can get the recognition that you deserve. Because I find it really weird. And I wasn't even trying to do this today. You in Mississippi Vol, but I find it weird that Tennessee's offense at one point could be number one in the country, and folks ain't beating down Tennessee's door for the offensive coordinator. That doesn't happen a lot.
Well, that's because we know who calls plays. It may not be Heupel 100% of the time, but we know who has the final say, who calls the majority, the plays the majority of the time. Like, we know whose offense this is.
That's what I'm saying. So, usually when you have a coordinator that has a top 5 offense, other teams are beating down your door to try to hire him. I don't know if they was beating down the door to try to hire Joey Halsley.
No, we know that they weren't beating down the door to hire Joey Halsley. We would have heard more about that. To me, and I like Joey Halsley. I mean, clearly I took up for him from the show
He's a nice
today.
dude.
Well, I'm just talking about from a football standpoint. Like, I think he provides value to Tennessee's coaching staff. I do, but I view him as Tennessee's quarterback coach who has a title.
That's what I view him as. I don't view him as the offensive coordinator like I do Charlie Weiss Jr. because Josh Heupel hasn't said that he calls plays.
And I'm sure that Joey has more say in game planning than we realize. But I do view Joey Halsley as the quarterback's coach that has a title. And this is Josh Heupel's offense. That's how I've always viewed it. And it to your point about being or whatever word you want to use, but Josh Heupel coming out and saying who calls plays and whatnot, like it would serve him well to do so.
I think so. Maybe wrong, but that's what
I don't think that he will ever do that, but I think it would serve him well to do so.
I just think it's weird, man, because, like, Golich went from big-time season 22 offensively, got a head coaching job. Tennessee's offense was up there at the top, dropped 40-something points on Georgia, and you only gave Halsey a slight bump, and you was able to keep him. I just think that's weird. But anyways, Golich has said on record that it was a collaboration as far as play calling when he was here. But Heupel didn't have those management issues in 22 like he's had this past season. So you got to factor that in. Again, Halsey has done a good job. Like, no one's sitting here saying that he has done a bad job. I just think the dynamic is weird that we don't know who calls the plays. And I look around the league, and you just know. Like, you have a better – you know who calls plays. There's not all this wishy-washy stuff. And I don't think it bodes well for Halsey at the end of the day. If I was his agent, I'd be like, man, you're not really going to ever get the credit, man. It's no different than when Jeremy Pruitt was a head coach and Derek Ansley was the defense coordinator. Like, even if the defense is good, Pruitt was going to get the credit. It wasn't going to be Derek Ansley, unless Pruitt came out and said Ansley calls the defense. But I think that's why Jay Bateman left Texas A&M and went to Kentucky, so it can be known that he calls the defense. Oh, well.
Oh, that is why he left. I mean, Pete Thamel came out and basically said that he reported it.
We put two and two together before Pete Thamel said that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, it's just common sense.
Yes, it is. Well, Tennessee baseball just had an example of this with Luke Bonfield, who played at Arkansas, and I believe Tony was there. Tony started coaching at Arkansas when Luke was a player there, but Luke has kind of was in the shadows of Josh Elander as kind of the secondary recruiting guy, and Luke understood that in order for him to get out and create a name for himself, he needed to get out and spread his wings, and now he's the recruiting coordinator at Pittsburgh and has a couple of other titles as well, and hoping to prove himself in that sense. We see it all over the place all the time. Yeah. Coaches who love being somewhere but understand that to further their career, they've got to step out and go do their own thing elsewhere.
Yeah. Kelsey Pope can recruit, but our receivers need a jug machine in their dorm room.
Who other than Mike Matthews?
Yeah, Mike had some drops he shouldn't have had, but
Brazel and Staley didn't have any
drops this year too. Mike had Mike had more of those drops.
Yeah, I don't recall any of those for Brazel. Unless I'm just forgetting.
Brazel had drops in traffic where the ball hit him in the chest.
Alligator arms.
Yeah, I mean he had a couple of those this season.
Because every receiver is going to have drops over the course of the season. Of course, the goal is not to. But I like what you said about Matthews. Matthews had some of those drops where it's like they stand out more than the others.
Yeah. Hunsucker says Jesse Perry, Sham, David Sanders are LB guys he's recruited. All started multiple games this year. Let's stop with that narrative. Jesse Perry was really good this year.
Yes.
David Sanders. We know about David Sanders. Sham.
Is he a needle mover? I don't think so now.
So I think the narrative is true, Hunsucker. I think it's fair. Year 5, the first time you've had a guy you recruited start offensive line, that's not anything that you just ignore. But again, I also mentioned LB is important to the success of the running game, and the running game has been successful. Tennessee has had an all SEC running back the last 3 years. And you don't have that with bad offensive line play. The play just can be better in big games.
And it's not where it needs to be in the big games of late.
Like, two things can be true. LB is important to the running game, and the running game has been successful. Recruiting development has to be better. And you have to be better in big games. Like, all these things can be true. And I think it's fair to both sides. Would Sam Levitt be a no for Tennessee? I think it depends on the price tag. But Sam Levitt is good enough to come in here and tear up the league.
Yeah, are you asking, does Tennessee tell Sam Levitt no? If Sam Levitt wants to come here, if that's what you're asking, no, Tennessee is not telling Sam Levitt no.
I think it depends on the price.
And I think Tennessee's willing to spend a nice little fortune on a quarterback if the right one and right scenario presents itself.
Yeah. Curious on making Pope pass game coordinator, or do you agree with that move, or is it another title for him to keep him in Knoxville to pay bump? I mean, those titles are a reason to give a coach more money, and Pope got a huge raise, and he deserves it. He's done a fabulous job. He's the best recruiter on the staff. He's the best recruiter. Best recruiter. I think he does the best job. And when the receivers played poorly last year, and folks were asking questions about Kelsey Pope, that dude stepped up to the plate and hit a home run like Max Gilbert. That's what he did this year with the wide receivers.
Drew Gilbert.
Well, I said Max Gilbert. Drew Gilbert. That's what he did.
We know Max Gilbert's not hitting any home runs when it matters most.
Drew Gilbert, my bad.
I'm sorry, Max. I didn't mean to take that shot at you. Swain put it on a tee for me.
Drew Gilbert. So, I mean, Kelsey Pope has been awesome this year. So, whatever you can do to give him an extra title to pay him more, you do it.
And keep him here.
Yeah, man. He's been awesome. Yeah, he's been awesome. So, the way he connects to players, you don't just find dudes like that growing on trees, man. You just don't. You got to have people on staff that can connect. Any truth to Mike Matthews wanting elite receiver money, possible going into the portal? I don't know.
If that is true, you already know where I'm going with this.
What?
If he comes to you and says, I want elite wide receiver money, I want wide receiver one type of money, are you giving it to him?
How much is that?
I don't know.
I'll say this, even without you giving me a number. Here's the advice I would give every player when asking for more money. Understand that agents get a huge chunk of your NIL money. And so don't let these agents be the ones who are greedy, because you're the ones that have to face your teammates and your coaches and personnel people at Tennessee. These agents don't even live here in Knoxville. So they don't care about asking for more money and asking for an insane amount of money and be willing to move you. But you're the ones that have to deal with it. I would be honest if I was Mike Matthews or anybody else. Did you have a good season? Yeah, you had a good season. Could it have been better? Yeah, you had some drops. So, expect more money, but also be realistic. Don't let your agent put you in a situation where you're burning some bridges because your agent is greedy. Be realistic about your game, about your value. Don't let agents pump you up and just be willing to sell you to the highest bidder. Because at the end of the day, Mike Matthews will have to catch the ball better wherever he goes, or if he plays here at Tennessee. He has to catch deep balls better. Simple as that. He knows that. And for Mike Matthews, here's where Mike Matthews is different from some other guys. There's more money on the other side for Mike. Mike is a pro player. Mike is a first-round talent. There's more money on the other side for Mike. So, like, even if you don't take the school to the cleaners, you are in line to make all that money up and more with the right mindset. Because I think I think it's really hard to be rewarded more than you should when there's room for you to improve. I think subconsciously it does something to you to where you get comfortable. I think for Mike, getting paid more is fair. But to go overboard, is the hunger going to be there to make the necessary improvements you need to make from this past season? Like, that's my question. I don't know that answer, but that would be my
because
question.
he deserves more, but he
more.
he does not deserve to break the bank either.
I mean, he already breaking the bank.
It's got to be within reason.
I mean, they already breaking the bank. Everybody already breaking the bank. But are we talking like first team All SEC receiver money? No.
In terms of the question Yes, and wanting elite receiver money, that's what I would consider elite receiver money.
No.
Like what Cam Coleman's about to get in the portal from somebody.
No. Nobody deserves that.
Well, I guess Cam Coleman hasn't even entered the portal yet, has he?
No. Cam Coleman different, man. He's different.
Right. If Mike's asking for that type of money, you say no.
And here's the thing, though. You have to understand, these players just saw Boo Carter get a raise last year. And look what he did to the team. Look what he was allowed to do. So you can't blame these agents for asking more because we paid it. We paid it last year. So you have to let people know, yo, we're not doing that. We're not doing that this year. Now, Auburn has adopted a new approach moving forward. You got to let people know, yo, we're not doing that. Like, we won't pay you. We're going to take care of you. But we're not trying to overspend. And we're going to pay your value. Here's all SEC value. Here's, fringe all SEC value. This is what this dude's making with these numbers. Like, you gotta be realistic. So that's how I would look at it. But I don't know the answer. I don't know what Mike is asking for. Nila Mafia, quote, no one is saying Halsey isn't good at his job, unquote. Oh, yes, we are. No, that's not what we're saying. Like, you can't say, no one can say Joey Halsey's not good at his job. You can say
that's what they're saying, though.
Who?
Fans. That's what fans are saying. That was my point earlier.
How?
That's what fans don't view Joey Halsey as having any value to this offense.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
And that was my initial point of that conversation is, and I did not mean to call out Mississippi Vol because I'm not saying that Mississippi Vol strictly believes this, but people would prefer that they get rid of Halsey and hire a de facto offensive coordinator, the Jim Knowles version on offense. And I think the more of the solution is taking the reins off of Halsey and seeing what you got in him. You say you trust him, although your actions say otherwise.
Yeah,
like let him see what he can do with the offense while you take a step back and manage the game better and be a better CEO.
Yeah, like that's a more realistic possibility that Josh takes a more CEO approach than offense coordinator approach. So right now, Tennessee has co-coordinators when maybe they just need one coordinator and a CEO, head coach. Like that's kind of my assessment from viewing the situation in the last 2 or 3 years since Golish has left. It wouldn't be an issue if you didn't have the missteps in the CEO department. Because if you can handle wearing those multiple hats, then no one has an issue. But the fact that the ball has been dropped in some situations, now people are going, well, maybe Heupel needs to take a step back, be more of a CEO, trust Halsey more, allow him to be the offensive coordinator. But the problem is, if you don't trust him, that's an issue in itself. But no one should be criticizing Joey Halsey like he's not good at his job. Would you want him to be better at certain moments? Absolutely. But you can't take away that offensive performance against Georgia. You can't take away what they've been able to do offensively all season long. You can't take that away from Halsey. That ain't fair.
But here's the problem for Joey Halsey.
That ain't fair.
Is Josh Heupel gets credit for that offensive performance against Georgia.
He always will.
and what's unfortunate for Joey Halsey is that while Tennessee is in the midst of stubbing its toe against Alabama and Oklahoma and Vanderbilt, fans are wondering, what is Joey Halsey doing? Why is Joey Halsey calling this play? Why is Joey Halsey calling that play? He gets no credit when the offense does well, and he gets all the blame. Not all the blame. He gets a lot of blame when things aren't going well because people start – what's the first thing that happens when things aren't going well in offense? People start to question the play caller.
Oh, yeah.
And because he has the offensive coordinator title, he is perceived as the play caller, although I think that is unfair to him because I don't think it is him calling the plays.
Yeah, not 100% of the time.
And I would even say not the majority of the time.
Yeah, he gets the heat when the offense is not moving, and then Heupel gets the credit when the offense is moving.
Right.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, I get it. 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 Yeah. Mike Matthews is this close from being first team All SEC. He's really close. Him and Staley, they're really close to both being on the first team All SEC. So, man, let these contracts play out.
Plus, this is a money year for both of them, especially Mike Matthews with them being able to go pro after this upcoming year, like you were talking about and alluding to. Put all of your eggs in this basket, much like Jalen Hyatt did before his breakout year. Put all of your eggs in this year's basket, and if it pans out the way that it should, then you will make so much more money on the back end than the front end.
GC Superval says Mike wanted receiver 1 money after last season, ended up wide receiver 3 on this team. How do you even know that? Like you don't know what Mike wanted. I can tell you right now that's not even true. That's not true at all. That's not true. The reports out there this time last year when Mike was linked to the transfer portal was, oh, he just wants more money. Guys, that wasn't true. That wasn't true. I don't know about this year because I told you 5 minutes ago, I do not know about this year. I do know last year that was not true. This was not a Ricky Gibson, Boo Carter threatening to get into the portal because you're trying to get more money. It was not that. I can tell you that. That's unfair. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Let's hit up the Garza Law hotline. We'll take a break, and then we'll get back to the Beatty Chevrolet text box, BeattyChevrolet.com. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up?
Not much. Early Merry Christmas to you both.
Merry Christmas to you, Justin, in Florida.
How are we doing?
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful, man. Wonderful.
I was going to say, doesn't sound like you expected the tone of this show to go the way it did.
Well, I blame being in Mississippi Fall.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I actually managed to hold off calling for about an hour. I mean, I was just listening. Great show, great topics. The thing about the Mike Matthews that didn't make sense to me, and, all these reports about him wanting, more money, wasn't last year more about he wanted playing time? Because weren't the reports out of practice that he was the best wide receiver in the room in 2024, but wasn't getting any opportunity and was watching guys go out there, not do the job, and him not getting a shot?
I mean, to add a little bit more to that, remember there was a thought that he was on a red shirt, and then you didn't red shirt him, and you kind of burned his red shirt and didn't play him enough. Like, there was if I was Mike Matthews, I would be like, yo, what in the heck is going on?
Yep.
I mean, that was more of the question. Then, Nico's about to get into the portal, but I don't think Mike Matthews is going to make any decisions based on Nico. Everybody's their own man.
Nope.
But I think his role and what happened his freshman year, I think he needed some clarity. I think because if I was in that situation as a freshman and I'm expecting to play and I'm not playing, and then I'm expecting a red shirt, and then you don't red shirt me, yo, you janking me around a little bit here. And I would be feeling a certain type of way about that. So again, like
Agreed.
What was said about last year, him wanting money is just untrue. It's false. Like it's just a straight up lie.
Yeah,
I don't know
the
about this
point
year.
actually, yeah. But the point I was calling in about was the Halsley thing, and to say Halsley's not doing a good job, I think is unfair
It's
because
unfair.
because I actually saw a real improvement in the mechanics of Joey Aguilar. I remember that first game. Actually, it was like the first 3 games. The deep balls had way too much air under them. Short throws, like everything was off his back foot. And as the season went on, he was throwing more balanced. They were more on line. They were more, on target. They weren't, those intermediate throws weren't missing high. They were right where guys could catch them on the run. So I think Halsley has done a great job as a quarterback coach.
Correct.
Now, his title, and I think this is what people are really getting at, I think Halsley should be the highest paid quarterback coach or one of them in the country. And I think he is right now, except he carries the title of offensive coordinator. And the fact that Heupel won't come out, did you hear what Ryan Day said about the playoffs and Hartline leaving as OC?
Yeah,
he came out and said, he's like, yeah, I'm calling plays.
Yeah.
I don't, the Heupel, I think, to your point, Swain, is making it worse by avoiding the topic because it almost looks like you're trying to hide the truth publicly that, hey, Daddy's really doing his homework. And I don't think that's helping his career. Now, I think Halsley has to make a decision at some point. If you really want to be taken seriously, you may have to move on your own, which is why I think you saw him being considered for some jobs. Now, he was passed over. They ended up going to some other teams. So I think at some point he's going to want to get, his own credit. Hey, this is my offense.
Yep.
I'm the one calling the plays.
Yep.
And, the last thing I wanted to mention is I do think it's a little bit concerning that if the position coaches on offense, if they are that good for the number 1 offense, you never once hear Glenn Ellerby's name about someone's trying to come in and steal him. Same thing with like a Kelsey Pope. As good of a recruiter as Kelsey is, people should be beating down his damn door trying to steal him.
They started to the last couple of weeks.
Kelsey has an opportunity.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
So if that happened, then I just hadn't heard
Including
that.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kelsey has given himself a lot of options, a lot of leverage with
Okay.
how his position performed this season, for sure.
That's why they wanted to
Gotcha.
to lock up his contract stuff very quickly.
Quick.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to hang up and listen, guys. Great show.
Hey, thank you, man.
I feel bad for Joey Halsley because if his title only said quarterbacks coach, he would be beloved. He would be viewed so favorably, but because it also says offensive coordinator, he is not viewed favorably.
He's getting paid $1.4 million. You don't have to feel bad for him.
Okay. Okay, Miss Captain Literal.
Well, I mean, hey.
You know that I don't actually feel bad for him. It's a figure of speech.
Okay, I didn't know. I feel bad for him was a figure of speech.
I mean, in terms of like the responsibility,
it's
like
part of being a coordinator.
Do you think that he's getting like a fair shake in terms of how he is perceived?
No, but I don't feel bad for him.
Okay.
Because I mean, he can go get another job if he wants to.
He can.
Yeah, I mean, making $1.4 million. Whew, that's pretty good, man. And maybe some guys don't want to be a coordinator and get the credit. Some guys don't have the ego. Some guys don't want to be head coaches. Like, there are guys who are lifetime assistant coaches. And there are guys who are perfectly fine saying, you know what, I don't care that y'all think Josh Heupel calls the plays. I don't care. I'm making $1.4 million. I think we'll know if he cares, if he goes and leaves. But I get what you're saying, Ben. But, like, I just don't feel bad for him because he saw Ghost leave and do what he has done. If he wants to do that, then he could put himself in a position to do the same thing if he really wanted to do that. And in the meantime, he's making $1.4 million. Like, he good. He's good. He's doing a heck of a job with quarterbacks. So and you can't say one little question or one little critique without it being taken to the total opposite extreme. It's like, oh, I don't know. Joey calls the plays. Well, that means he's not good and Tennessee need to go in a different direction. No. Like, Justin and Ben, like, y'all, when it comes to quarterback development, like, who has shown that they're better in this conference in the last couple of years besides Lane Kiffin? Like, who can show that? So Halsey's done a good job. The conversation with Halsey has nothing to do with his ability to develop quarterbacks. It's about the play calling and the game management hiccups that Josh Heupel had. That's all. And that's no fault of Joey Halsey. 865-255-03 is the telephone number. We'll go to the Beatty Chevrolet text box, when we come back from a brief timeout. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
You don't say.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Guys, you can feel your energy slipping away, losing what makes you, you. It could be low testosterone. Take action now. Low T Center can help reclaim your energy with a quick and simple free T-test. Visit Low T Center and receive pharmaceutical-grade testosterone never compounded like other clinics. Experienced providers increase your testosterone to the level that is just right for you. Treatment is covered by most major insurance with affordable self-pay options available. The best you is waiting. Book your free T-test at trtmvp.com. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue, right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If your current house is feeling a little too much like a lump of coal this year and you're dreaming of decking the halls in a brand new home, then I'm here to help. Skip the holiday stress and call me, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904 or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
865-255-03 is our telephone number. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. I'm Jason Swain. Anything to add to the show about basketball, Ben McKee? I know they didn't play anybody significant, but anything of note you want to add?
Well, first, I will pass along Jennifer Morris's shout out of the day. She wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. to our Swain Event family. She hopes everyone gets to enjoy time with family and friends and has safe travels. Be sure to reach out to her if you need anything her way. That is Jennifer Morris of Keller Williams Realty, the absolute best in the game here in the Knoxville area. So please reach out to her for all of your real estate needs. We greatly appreciate Jennifer's support for the show throughout the course of the year and wish her a Merry Christmas back. On the basketball front, there's not much to add. I mean, the game against, I've forgotten who they played, Gardner-Webb on Sunday was just an absolute nothing burger. One of the worst teams I've ever seen play basketball. Unfortunately, a week from today, football kicks off at 5:30.
Yes, sir.
Basketball will tip off at 8 o'clock against an even worse team in South Carolina State, who
Worse?
Worse. Gardner-Webb had won. Gardner-Webb was 2-12. Let's see what South Carolina State is 1-13 after losing by 25 at South Carolina last night. A bad South Carolina team. The only game that South Carolina State has won this year is Bruton Parker.
Who?
They beat them on Friday. Whoever Bruton Parker is, I assume that is it sounds like a law firm.
I know.
But I assume it's a D3 school or something along those lines.
Like
that's the only win for them this year.
College kid.
It does.
Yeah.
South Carolina State's first game of the year was against Louisville. Louisville won 104-45. So one more crappy basketball game, unfortunately, before we get into SEC play, which I'm very excited about because that will begin with a bang for Tennessee. On January 3rd, they're at Arkansas. They come back home and they play Texas on Tuesday, and then they are at Florida. So the first two Saturdays of SEC play are on the road, and they are at Arkansas. They are at Florida. So things about to get picked up for Tennessee basketball. My only thought from Sunday's game, was just how exciting this freshman class could potentially be for Tennessee, and just how much potential this freshman class has. They will obviously lose Nate Ament after this season because Nate will be most likely a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. But I think Tennessee really has something in Amari Evans, Dwayne Brown, Troy Henderson, Clarence Masamba. That could be the next foundation for the next era of Tennessee basketball under Rick Barnes. They all have some developing to do. Certainly, there's no doubt about that. But pretty amazing when you look at Amari Evans and those players that I mentioned. All four of them. Amari was ranked fairly high, but Dwayne Brown, right there from Hoover, Alabama, Auburn did not want him. Barely recruited him, if at all. He's going to have a really good college basketball career. Troy Henderson, I believe, finished as a 3-star point guard, kind of the next Zakai Ziegler in terms of the high school ranking. And then Clarence Masamba, an international prospect from France that kind of came out of nowhere late in the process. All four of those guys, if they develop the way that Tennessee thinks that they should, have a chance to be really good college basketball players. So pretty incredible evaluations there from Rick Barnes and his coaching staff. So that was kind of my thought coming out of the game on Sunday. I mean, Jacoby Gillespie and those guys should play well. I mean, Gardner-Webb had no size whatsoever, and they had no answer for J.P. Estrella and Jalen Carey as a result. But just the excitement of this freshman class just really stuck out. And I know it was against Gardner-Webb, but these guys are playing college basketball for the first times in their life, and the more they play, the better they look.
Any thoughts on Peyton Lewis hitting the portal?
See ya.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Yeah, I mean that was we're hammering Glenn Ellerby this morning. I mean that wasn't on Glenn Ellerby, but another missed evaluation on the offensive side of the football for Tennessee. Peyton Lewis was thought to be a big time prospect out of the state of Virginia.
I don't know if I call it a missed evaluation.
I guess
he was good. He just wasn't. He's not what you need to take the next step forward. Like
there was a lot of hype. I hear you. Maybe I'm being too strong, but there's a lot of hype.
Yeah, but
coming coming on Peyton Lewis coming out of high school.
Hype.
We know where that hype comes from.
But, okay, you're right. But everybody gets hype. Like everybody gets hype coming in as
You're right.
freshmen. Ellaby had guys who he recruited who never played
Fair
down.
enough.
Okay, Peyton Lewis played. So when he did play, he didn't give you enough of what you need to take the next step. Like Peyton Lewis is, I think, at number 3 back, but you're paying him like he's a number 1 back or number 2 back, and you can't do that. Like you got to pay somebody else that money. So
he is easily replaceable. That was my very first thought. The better question is, or the tougher question is, what route do you go at the running back position?
You better get in that portal.
Right, but what type of running back, what tier level of running back, going back to our quarterback conversation, are you bringing in? Are you
Start Thomas?
Are you just going to give Deshaun Bishop the show next year, or are you bringing in a true backup to Deshaun Bishop, or are you going to try and add the best guy possible and make it kind of like a tag team or a 1-2 punch or a more traditional pecking order?
Well, it depends on who's available. And
Yes.
what the price tag is, because like this is the year. That should be.
How
the
much are you
mentality.
willing to pay for a running back? And I'm not asking for a specific dollar amount, but like,
Yeah, I don't know
are you willing to
I don't know the market.
say that again?
I don't know the high running back market.
Well, knowing how running backs think, they always overvalue themselves. I'm sure the market will be higher than what it should be.
Well, everybody overvalues themselves because.
But especially that position, as we see in the NFL.
Well, I mean, you have to be greedy because they don't value you. So you have to value yourself and get as much money as you can because they look at your position as a position that anybody can play. Good for guys like Dalvin Cook and Barkley and Derrick Henry and those dudes still out here that's balling, doing their thing at their position. Christian McCaffrey. They're holding that value at that position. So I think for Tennessee, if you have an opportunity to get a stud there and the price is right, you go for that. And then if Dwayne Morris proves that he belongs in the rotation, then cool. But I don't like not recruiting good players because you're afraid you're going to scare someone off. I think that's the worst approach you can take.
Thank you. I have felt
It's the worst approach.
I know I am clueless and don't know what I'm talking about, but boy, have I really felt like I don't know what I'm talking about with some people when having these type of conversations because it's always, well, you're already giving this much money to that guy. You don't want to run off this young player, that young player. And are there some young guys
It ain't
that you
about
don't
the money.
want to?
It ain't about the money for me.
Well, it's not for me either. To me, it's just about making your roster giving your roster what it needs in that moment, in that offseason. That's to me what it's about. If a young guy's not ready to play, I don't care how much money you got tied up into him.
Yeah, that's your fault for giving him that much money.
Yes.
So like,
and just because I'm paying Peyton Lewis a bunch of money, I'm not gonna play him if he's not ready or if he's not good enough to be a first team running back in this league.
yeah. Well,
But so many people are worried about are caught up in, oh, I'm giving this much money to this guy. That means I have to play him. I can't have that much money sitting on the bench. Like that to me is that thought process does not click in my head. Like I understand you don't want to be wasting money, but this is SEC football, college football. All of these players are going to have money. Somebody's got to sit on the bench. That cannot deter you from going and getting a player out of the portal if it is a position of need.
yeah. Merry Christmas to you and the family, Ben McKee.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Christmas hits a little different this year given the second half of the year that I have had. So
Yeah.
uber thankful, so grateful for everybody that listens and supports us and has supported me the last several months. It's truly meant the world, and words don't do it justice. So I appreciate you, appreciate everybody listening, and hope everybody listening does have a Merry Christmas.
Look at that facial hair.
I know. I look like me again. My beard's back.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed.
Nice to not look like a naked mole rat anymore.
Well, I didn't ever think about a naked mole rat, but since you said it, you did look like a naked mole rat. Now you don't. You look like Ben McKee. That we all know, man. So good to see you, man, looking like yourself. And Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Programming note, we obviously won't do the show on Christmas. It's on Thursday, but the game is on Tuesday, Tennessee and Illinois in the Music City Bowl. And so we're going to do the show Monday at the same time, 8 a.m. So Monday will be the next Swain event, 8 a.m. No show on Christmas Day. So with that being said, man, thank you for making Swain Event part of your day today. Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Shout out to Kevin Simon, because ate good yesterday, Dead End Barbecue. My man had that loaded potato. Woo, woo.
Y'all didn't want to send out any invites?
All right, you invited today. Meet us there.
Are y'all actually going today?
Yep, meet you there.
Y'all are going back-to-back days?
We didn't get everything on the menu yesterday.
I'm proud of y'all.
Dead
Dead End deserves it. If there's one restaurant to eat on back-to-back days in Knoxville, it's Dead End Barbecue.
Well, I didn't really eat that much. So, but today might be different, man. And you are welcome, my friend. And everyone is welcome. Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Peace and love. Merry Christmas, everyone. We are out.